Okay, so this video, if you are watching, is part of a series of how do I take sort of video that's saved on my computer and automate the process of uploading it to YouTube with a title and a description and every single thing already perfectly installed. And so in the previous set of videos, what I've done is I've gone to Chat GPT and I've written a script that could basically pull down, well, monitor my computer for videos, take those videos, transcribe them using Chat GPT, and then from there, once I have that, save the data into a text file, which I could then now take that text file and then upload it into YouTube. So in this video, we're going to focus on the YouTube part, which is basically how to upload that video into YouTube. Again, we're going to use Chat GPT for the entire process. So with that, just to continue from where I left off the last time, in the last video, one of the problems that I actually ran into was that my script was not necessarily working correctly because for some reason, let me just open it up until we could get it going. So the script wasn't necessarily working correctly because this OpenAI, the environment key, the OpenAI key is stored in my environment variables for security purposes. And so as a result, I wasn't able to get it working. It turns out that the reason why it's not working is because you need to restart Windows. Now I haven't validated that. We're going to validate that on this particular thing. In the event that it doesn't work, then at least I could go figure out what the answer is. So with that, I'm going to run the same script again. I should get the same answer and then we'll go from there. So Python GTP summarizer, that's the name of the file that I named it. And then I'm going to run that. And what is the error this time? Yeah, it's not working, man. Not working. So there's something wrong either with my computer or the way that environment variables are stored. So let me just go check this out. So envirment. There's just something going on. And you know, one of the reasons why I'm doing this stuff in sort of real time is because this is the life of a programmer. Like, programmers experience these problems all along. And what I hate about the current YouTube process is that, you know, you see these just hyper edited videos that obviously tries to move the story along, and I understand why they're doing that. It, you know, it keeps viewerships, etc., but it doesn't get to the real source of the problem. Like, how do you actually like debug some of these things, and what is the process that you're using to debug it, right? So anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do right now. So in here, somewhere in here, there should be an environment variable. I don't know if it's a system variable or what, but I should have a variable that says open, and I don't. So yeah, so I don't know if it's a user variable or a system variable. I'm going to try a system variable first. I'm going to see what happens. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to paste that in here. Here's where I need to paste my API key. I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to paste the API key and then I'll come back and then we'll see if it actually works. Okay, just for security purposes. Then I'm going to click OK just to be clear. Okay, so turns out there was a problem. It actually, for some strange reason, the environment variable via command line is not working. I'm not certain why. Now, so this is what Chat GPT suggested that I do, right? Like, it suggested that I run this command and set the environment variable. I'm just going to double check this. So on YouTube, so it's like how to set, I'm going to set on Windows, how to set environment variables on Windows via command. All right, so Stack Overflow should have something on this. Okay, super, yeah, this website is part of Stack Overflow. Equals, isn't that what they had? Yeah, that's exactly what they had. Interesting. Okay, doesn't really matter. I manually set it. We're good. So let's move on altogether. And again, just a reminder, this video is like a whole series of videos, so you'll have to go back and watch the other, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos previously to kind of get context on where we are in this particular walkthrough. However, so we are now successfully getting a script saved into a folder here that says summarize, right? And it's put in the, oh, this is interesting. In this video I show you the Python. Receipt inside the library. Okay, so this is just summarized script. Now what I'm not finding is that it's not giving me the suggested title, and it's not thing. So I'm gonna tell it. I'm just gonna tell it. I'm just gonna be like, hey man, you're not giving me every single thing you need now. And I'm pretty certain it's because of this, but that's not. But the point is, I don't want to write code. I just want it to tell it what to do. So what it is, save the generated file. So I'm gonna tell it. So the problem is that I'm only getting the description, and I want the description. I want the suggested titles, and I would like the tags. So I like the data saved in the following format: description separated by a colon. The description will go here. Title. So like that. Not title, suggested titles. Five titles will be here. Point format. And then tags. COMMA, right? To save the generated text in the desired format, we can use the following code. Format output, okay. Definition, formatted output text. So this is a function. It's going to take the text and it's going to format it. Description line 0, join lines 1 and 2, tags. That's interesting. I will say Python is, it's growing on me. It's concise. It's concise. There's a lot of stuff here would be in .NET. There would be just a lot more code. I can see why people like it. I'm worried about this 0 that is put in here. Worried about this 0. Why 0? Extract the generated text from the response. So you know what we should do, just for the sake of things? We should print response.choices. Oh, you know what it is? I think the API is returning sort of different levels of choice, I think. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's print. Let's print. So let's go back here. So I copied that. I'm going to just copy this as well too. Control C, just so I have it in memory, and paste that. No, That's not what I want to paste. I want to paste Windows V and this first. That's Windows V, and then I want to replace this Windows V, and I want to replace it with this, right? And let's do this. Let's print this result, save to file, and let's print the choices so we could understand what's going on here. So result response. Yeah, let's print response.choices. I have no idea what it is. Okay, and then let's try that again. Make sure that we don't have the file. We don't want to do. Let's get rid of this summarize file. We have the video transcript. What does the transcript look like? Yeah. Okay, so let's what's the issue here? Oh, okay, sorry. It's not an error, it's just what's coming back from the API. So the API is responding at JSON with the status finish, reason stopped, index 0, the text, and it's giving me back the exact text that I needed. Where is the description? YouTube, the goal of this is make a GPT. You know what it's not doing? It's not giving me back this. Oh, you know what? I think it's because of the model. I think this model is weak. Let's try GPT-3. DaVinci 3. I think it's the model. In this video. Yeah, so you see this model is returning better, right? More stuff. But it's not giving me the title, and it's not giving me the suggested keyword. So I got a model problem. So I need to go figure out what kind of model, like which model I need, and I think it's GPT. So OpenAI. So, right, developers, models. So I need to go find, I think it's over here, an engine. Where is it? Where are the engines? So I need to find the, where's the search on this thing? API reference, engines here, list engines. So the model endpoints are depreciated. Okay, so the engine endpoints are depreciated. Please use model replacement. So models, okay. So here's what I'm going to ask it to do. You know what? Too much reading. So why don't we do this? Documentation. We offer a spectrum of models, yes. Okay, there we go. Limited. So GPT-4 is limited. GPT 3.5 is the one that we can do. Right, so GPT-4. So this is then limited, but we want GPT-4, right? We don't care that it's limited. We want GPT-4. So why don't we just try to change the engine to that? See what happens. What did it say? Error. GPT-4 does not exist. Okay. GPT. Okay, let's do GPT 3.5 Turbo. This is a chat model and not supported in the V1 completion endpoint. Did you mean chat? Okay, so we got a versioning problem on our thing. So why don't we yeah, so my problem here is I don't know which model will get me with Chat GPT. Most capable Chat GPT model can do any tasks any of the other models of you. Okay, so maybe this is what we need. Most capable, right? So what did we have before? So we had DaVinci. We're gonna try yeah, okay. Text DaVinci, so we maybe just DaVinci. Model maximum content is however you request token. Okay, so we're hitting maximum, we're hitting max limits. So it's not GPT. Model endpoints compatibility. So this is what we need. So okay, so endpoint completion will do GPT-4, etc. So we need this endpoint, but then the question, I'm using an SDK. So the SDK that I have does not actually, you see, OpenAI create, right? Like it doesn't. So the question is, how can I get the latest SDK? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the latest SDK that could support this text completion. So we got two options. I don't know if ChatGPT will answer this question. So let's just do this first. So open AI text completion SDK. Let's see. So beta that. Okay, so that's probably what we have to do because it's in beta. So that means we have to, so in order to create, yeah, so the where is the, so I think it's this one. This is the one that we're trying to get to. So how do we get it? Is there an SDK for this? I don't know if there's an SDK for this. So we might actually have to write raw JSON to do this process. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. We're just going to tell ChatGPT, because I don't think it's aware of this API, right? So what's the difference? Create completion. Yeah. Okay, so let's tell it. Let's give it some new tricks. So let's tell it, hey, this code is fine. The code is okay. However, the API, right? The API is outdated. We would like to use the latest API. Please use the current documentation to figure out to send a direct REST API call. Okay, so what we're telling it is, outdated. Okay, so we're telling it, hey, code works, but the current SDK is outdated. I would like to use switch the code to use, I would like to switch the code to use direct REST API call. Right, so I'm telling it, hey, your SDK is outdated. There's a newer SDK out there. So therefore, I would like you to use this as the API call. So but that's okay. So the problem here is that the API is still in beta. So please use the following documentation to update your code accordingly. And then this is the documentation. Send. No. Go away, you word tune thingy. I don't know why. You know what? This plugin is crap. I don't use it. Delete. Yeah. Goodbye. So, yeah. So that's what we're telling it. Okay. So enter. Here's the update code to use REST API indicated the Python SDK. REST API libraries to make things. Okay, so we're going to bring in a direct REST API. Yes. We're going to bring all the rest of the code the same. Right, so every single thing stays the same. That's for formatting, that's for the description, that's for suggested titles, etc. Maybe what we should do is take that text file and we should convert it into a JSON, because that might actually be easier for us to transcribe and import it into. Yeah, that's actually a better way to do it. I think what we'll do is we'll make this JSON file. So this video is turning out to be more of not a YouTube video, but it's turning out to be sort of modification or iteration on the Python script altogether. So we'll see how it goes. So now it's going to basically put in all the bear token API keys, etc., etc. It's going to do a raw API request as opposed to using the SDK, because therefore I have more control, because the documentation, right? The documentation is suggesting that I do that in order to use the beta endpoints. And then we need to, and then so now the question is what, right? So this endpoint supports GPT-4. So we're going to try that. If not, we're going to go to GPT. Well, we can do GPT 3.5 Turbo. And I think that would be good enough as well too. So we'll try it, but we'll try the GPT-4 because that's what we care about, right? We care about GPT-4. Okay. This code reads the transcript and sends a REST API call using REST API extracts to generate the data format. Save. Yes. Okay. So copy. Again, we're going to bring it over here. We already have that in memory, so we're going to paste that. And then here, where we have this guy here, we're just going to replace it with Windows V. And then we got to go down a little bit more to this. Right. So we still got our own API key. Still got that. So interestingly enough, it's not using the new API. It's still using the old API. So created completion. But I think it's actually this one here. So it's actually this one. So I might have given it the wrong thing. So let's see if this works. If not, I'll tell it to rewrite it with this new. Got you. Okay, so let's do it. So let's do this. So I gave it the wrong API. So this is the beta one. Doesn't tell me the response to, or response here. Right, so again, I'm going to copy this. Tell Chat GPT I made a mistake. And then I also need to give it a sample response, because I think the response API is different as also. So here the response. So this is the beta. Make sure we're in the right one here. So this is the beta. So this is the new response API. So it's so that it could modify the code accordingly. So we need to tell it that, and then we need to say, so I made a mistake with the documentation. This is the correct documentation below. Please rewrite the code. Also the response is different. Here is a sample. Right. So because they've changed the API, we need to adjust the code accordingly to use a new thing. We're also going to tell it to change this format. I've decided that it's no longer in our best interest to save the file in a text format, but you should actually save it in a JSON format, because then that makes more sense. Right? Okay, it's a little bit slow. I'll admit these videos could go a little bit longer. But you know what? This is real time, so we're doing it in real time. It is what it is. Don't like it? Fast forward. That's a new, man. That's a new. Okay, so while this is going, well, what have we done so far? Let's just get sort of a pulse check on where we are across the board. So we have we're going to download the file from Loom. We're going to save it to a folder. We're going to monitor that folder for a specific file. We're going to take the file along with the transcript, and we're going to upload it to Chat GPT. We're going to get a transcript of that file. We're going to basically copy the response into a file. We're going to save it. Now we're going to save that response as JSON. Right? Sorry, JSON, right? And then we're going to upload to YouTube. So basically we're going to upload to YouTube in the next video. I thought I was going to get to it in this video, but we're not. We're going to get to it in the next video. And also we need to know about the JSON API in order to do that properly. So that's going to be the goal here. All right, let's see. So we have our new code, and I'm not going to walk through it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let ChatGPT work in the background to say, can you change the output to a JSON format? Right. Yeah, with those values. That's correct. That's correct. You're good. That's exactly what I want to do. Let's just double check that it's going to do the right thing. Format. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so while it's doing that in the background, let's go copy that piece of code again. Paste that. Again, we want to replace this section here with our actual Windows. So we're looking for this, save, then we're going to just do that, run it. Right. So the response choices message strip error. So it's not, the response is still wrong. Why is it wrong? So this code here. So why don't we, oh, you know what? I forgot the print line is not there anymore. That's why. So let's do this. Generate the text. We don't want the choice anymore. What we want to do is we want to, Let's just print this out. Let's just print this out and see what's going on here. Because we could figure this out even if it's not, if every single thing is fine. We can just print this out. Response, JSON response. Right, we could do that. So at least we know what's going on. Let's see. So JSON response error message invalid URL chat correction invalid error parameter. Interesting. So what should we do? Should we go back to Chat GPT, or should we continue try to push on and fix this code with Chat GPT-4? So let's tell it. Got it. So it forgot to update. No, that's correct. That's exactly what it's doing. It's going to do the same. Completions, yes. It's the same code. All right, so this is where ChatGPT is breaking down a little bit. It's not figuring out exactly what the problem is. So let's see if this works. If this doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to figure out exactly what's the problem by reading the documentation just a teeny bit more. I mean, we've gotten this far without reading the documentation at all. I mean, I should at least pay some attention to the documentation. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to wrap this video up, and then I'll kind of summarize it on my next video when we talk about the YouTube sort of upload process. All right, so that's that.